And we are live. Hello, everyone. My name is Jean, and I'm working for MPub. Over here is Danny, and this is her first class, so give her a great welcome. Today, she's going to talk about the organization of writing. So without further ado, Danny, go ahead and have a wonderful class.
Thank you so much. All right. Hello, everybody. So my name is Danny, and I am from the UK, and I am from Liverpool. So hopefully I can get my slides on. And as you can see, Liverpool is well known for certain things. So what is Liverpool famous for? Can anyone tell me? Any ideas? Well, they're very famous for a band called the Beatles. Liverpool is also famous for two football clubs, Liverpool and Everton. But for you guys there, Liverpool is also famous for MPub. And today we're going to focus on IELTS writing task 1. So let's have a look and see. So let's get my PowerPoint. And here we go. So guys, by the end of the lesson, hopefully you can see that. There we go. By the end of the lesson, you should be better able to understand and use the required format for task 1 writing. So let's have a look and see. So how much do you guys know? Let's find out. So we're going to start off with some questions. So I have a question here. What's my name? My name is Danny. So nice to meet you guys. So let's get started. So question 1, how long should you spend on task 1 report? So how long should you spend? Any ideas? Feel free to type in the box. I can see your comments. So you should spend no more than 20 minutes on your task 1, okay, in the academic writing. Okay, question 2. How many words should you write? So how many words should you write? Anybody have the answer? It is 150 words. And obviously the examiner will be looking for more than 150 words. Okay, question number 3. What percentage is task 1 worth towards your total writing mark? So what I mean by that is task 1 and task 2 together. What is the percentage worth? Well, I can tell you that it's worth roughly about 33% of your total writing marks. That's why it's so important just to spend 20 minutes on task 1. So the next question. Hello to those that are saying hello, hello. All right, what 4 areas will you be marked on? So the examiner looks at 4 particular areas. The first one is this, task achievement. So the examiner is looking to see if you can present the data accurately. They will also be looking at whether you have answered all of the question. So that is your task achievement, and that is worth 25% of your marks. Okay, another area that the examiner will be looking at is the coherence and cohesion. So you need to ask yourself, do your ideas link? Are you using linking words? This is what the examiner will be looking for. Also, a very important tip is please do not overuse the same linking words. We use them every single day. So look at using different linking words because the examiner is bound to give you a higher band score for your IELTS if you're using different linking words. The next area, dun, 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 is your lexical resource. So the words that you use. Now, do you use the same words over and over again? No, of course you don't. You need to expand on the words that you use. You need to be using a range of synonyms in order to make your writing stand out. Also, the examiner will be checking your spelling and they will be checking your sentence formation. And often, students will write very quickly because, as you all know, you have a time limit. And often, students will forget simple things like capital letters and full stops. So please, please make sure that you're using capital letters and full stops. And lastly, the last area that the examiner will be looking for is your grammar. Now, please use a different array of tenses. We will be looking at tenses in a bit more detail in a moment. Please also manage your punctuation. So don't be writing a whole paragraph without a comma, without a full stop. So think about the correct punctuation that you need to use. So they are the 4 areas. Okay, moving on. What are the main charts are you likely to see? So the examiners in IELTS, they only like to give certain charts. Charts such as bar chart, pie chart. Sometimes you might see a map or you might see a line graph. And we will be looking at some examples a little bit later on. Okay, let's have a look at the next question. Will all words be counted? The answer is yes, they will. However, students often ask the question, do numbers count as one or several words? The answer is that words will only count as one. So if you have the number 100, it will only count as one word, even if you write it in the word formation. And my next question, what tense should be used for writing task 1? Well, it depends. Let me show you. So here I've set out a table. Okay, so help. What tense should I use for task 1? Well, as you can see in each arrow, if there are no dates mentioned in the data, then you must use the present tense. If the dates are in the past, then you must use the past tense when writing up your answer. And if the dates are in the future, then you must use future forms. Now, sometimes the examiners can, be a little bit tricky, and often you might see that the data spans from both the past to the present time. So therefore, you must use both the present and the past forms of the tense. So my advice to you guys is read the data carefully. Read the question carefully, and that will help you determine which tense you should use. And guys, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. It is my first live session on MPub, so it might be a little bit shaky, but please don't hesitate to ask any questions. And I'm very well, thank you very much. All right, so let's move on and let's have a look at the next part. So we have an example. Now, this has been taken from an actual IELTS examination from task 1. And as you can see here, it is a bar chart. So this is something that is likely to crop up on your examination. Now, what you must do is spend time going through the data. It's extremely important to go through it so carefully. Also, please do not guess any data. What I mean by guessing data is often students will look at the bar chart, like so, and they will go, oh, that looks about 42%. No, if it's not there, then it's not given. So please do not predict any information or guess any information if it isn't there. You can only go on what is directly in front of you. Now, let's have a look and see. IELTS are very nice to you guys because they will always give you a description of the graph and what it shows. So that's nice of them, isn't it? And this will help you form your introduction for task 1. Okay. However, you must use your own English. So don't just copy what the examiner or the IELTS exam board have put. All right, so let's have a look and see. So have a look at this example. It says the chart below gives information about the number of social networking sites people used in Canada in 2014 and 2015. Now, we know we should include it, but how? How can we include this data into the introduction? Well, we use a skill called paraphrasing. And what that means directly is using your own English. You're putting this information into your own words. So let's have a look at some examples. So here is another example of a graph that you might have on your examination. Now it is a line graph and it shows us the consumption of fast food by Australian teenagers. Also, guys, at home or wherever you are, you can see at the bottom of each slide, there are the sources that I have taken each graph from. So feel free to look at them in your own time and look at some more graphs as well. So this could be on your examination. So we've had a bar chart and a line graph. Now, the big question, how do I paraphrase? That is a big, big question. And lots of students often struggle with this. My advice to you is to use a dictionary, a thesaurus. Find out different words. Find out lots of synonyms. And I highly recommend that you keep a notebook of common IELTS words. And in a later session, we will be looking at some words that you can use to help you get the higher band scores. So let's have a look at this in depth. So here you can see the line graph shows changes in the amount and type of fast food consumed by Australian teenagers from 1975 to 2000. Okay, now, how can I put this in my own words? Well, have a look at the next example. It says, the line graph compares the fast food consumption of teenagers in Australia between 1975 and 2000, which is a period of obviously 25 years. So what it's done here is it's changed its formation and it uses different words. And that is exactly what the examiner is going to be looking out for. And again, guys, if you have any questions or want me to go through anything, please ask. I'm happy to help you. So let's have a look at another type of format you may get for your Task 1 academic report. So here you have a pie chart. And it is a comparison of the energy production. Pie charts are often a little bit trickier than, say, your bar chart and your line graph. And that is because it has its own features. And what I mean by its own features is that it shows different proportions. Now, in order to get beyond a band 6, you need to mention and highlight the largest and the smallest proportions within the pie chart. Otherwise, you won't be aiming high. Okay, the examiners are always looking out to see whether you can analyze the data correctly. Also, within the pie chart, they will be looking out for exact words. Okay, language such as accounts for or represents, because often this type of language is associated with pie charts. So again, if you're aiming for beyond a 6, then these are the words you should be using, okay? And also, if the pie charts show 2 different time periods, you must mention the key changes or trends between them. Otherwise, you will fail to get the higher bands. So again, if you get pie charts, just bear these things in mind, okay? And again, any questions, guys, please ask away. Now, the second paragraph we should include in Task 1 is an overview. Now, students often ask the question, where do I put an overview? Is it the second paragraph or is it as a conclusion? Well, I highly, and I mean highly, especially with my past students, I really recommend that you put an overview as your second paragraph. The reason being is that an overview is very important, and the examiner will be looking out to see whether you can analyze the data accurately and correctly. And often, 20 minutes is a very short time. So students often forget to include the overview. So that's why I recommend that you put it in your second paragraph. Now, let's have a look. So what you need to do is to state what the main trend or trends in the graph are. Now, another common mistake that students make is they put all the data in an overview. Please don't do that. Please just give an overview. That's just a general gist of what is happening within the graphs or data. So don't put your percentages, don't put those key numbers in there because the examiner is definitely not looking out for those in this paragraph. Now, let's have a look at an example because as you'll find out, I love examples, and the only way to truly learn in IELTS and improve your mark is obviously to look at lots of examples. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's have a look at this line graph. So you need to ask yourself key questions here. Okay, now the key questions that should be going around in your mind is the consumption of which fast food has declined. So what I mean by declined is which food has decreased in popularity. People have stopped eating it. Also, ask yourself the consumption of which two fast foods have increased. Okay, so these are the things you should be looking out for in regards to an overview. Now, we can see, hopefully you can see it clearly enough, that fish and chips has declined. It's gone down, 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 down. And the consumption of the two fast foods that have increased, that have gone up, are hamburgers and pizza. So here is my example of an overview. This is something that the examiner will be looking out for. And the overview, such as the one you can see here, can be applied to any of the graphs, including the pie charts, the bar charts. So overall, the consumption of fish and chips declined over the period. Whereas, there's my linking word, and we love, and IELTS examiners love linking words. The amount of pizza and hamburgers that were eaten increased. So, as you can see, it's very simple, and it consists of literally 2 sentences. So keep it simple, but keep it accurate. So, moving on. Where should I put my overview? Again, like I previously said, I would certainly and definitely include it in the second paragraph, because like I said, you could possibly run out of time, and a lot of students often forget. So please just bear that in mind. Okay, so moving on to the body, the meat, as we like to call it. So the body of your answer for task 1 consists of body paragraph A and body paragraph B. And obviously, it's a big question of help. How do I do this? How do I produce the meat for A and the meat for B? Well, you need to look at the graph or the chart. I just also want to acknowledge I have seen a few questions. I will hopefully get time at the end to answer those questions and go back, especially the pie chart question. So please bear that in mind. I am on it. Okay, and secondly, you need to ask yourself what things are similar and which things are different, because this is the information that will make up the body paragraph for A and the body paragraph for B. Okay, so let's have a look at it in a bit more depth and detail. So have a look at this. What things are similar? So which things are the same and which things are different? And regardless to whatever graph, whatever chart you have, you're always looking for those two things. What's similar and what is different. So as you can see here, and I've put it in a simpler format here to show you, is that the fish and chips is different. So that will form our body paragraph A, talking about the differences. Now, pizza and hamburgers are the same. They've increased. More people are eating them. More people are consuming them. So that will make the body, the meat, whatever you want to call it, for body paragraph B. Okay, so let's have a look at this example I've put together. So in 1975, the most popular fast food with Australian teenagers was fish and chips, being eaten 100 times a year. This was far higher than pizza and hamburgers, which were consumed approximately 5 times a year. However, apart from a brief rise again from 1980 to 1985, the consumption of fish and chips gradually declined over the 25-year timescale to finish at just under 40. So as you can see, the paragraphs show what is similar and what is different. And that is exactly what the examiner is looking out for in the body paragraphs in your task 1. And again, guys, please don't hesitate to ask any questions or if you're unsure of anything. So moving on. Here is our B paragraph, and it shows the differences this time. It shows the similarities. So here we go. In sharp contrast to this, teenagers ate the other 2 fast foods at much higher levels. So pizza consumption increased gradually until it overtook the consumption of fish and chips in 1990. It then leveled off from 95 to 2000. The biggest rise was seen in hamburgers at the occasions they were eaten, and it increased sharply throughout the 1970s and 80s, exceeding that of fish and chips in 1985. It finished at the same level that fish and chips began, with the consumption at 100 times a year. So as you can see, this example shows that A, you have understood the data, and B, you're expressing it using linkers, correct punctuation, and clear sentences. And again, this is how you should be organizing your sentences. And then some common errors to look out for. Now, hello, whoever's just joined there, Abdul, hello. So the examiner won't be looking to trick you in any way, but they will be looking out for basic mistakes or common mistakes. And have a look at this. It says, from 1975 to 2000, hamburgers increased dramatically from 10 to 100 times per year. At the same time, fish and chips fell significantly to just under 40. Now, what's the problem? Where is the error in this? Could anyone tell me? Any ideas? What is wrong? What is the error? Well, hopefully you have it up here. The error is related to do with hamburgers. Okay, so did anyone find the error? No, not sure. So, can hamburgers increase and fish and chips fall? So we're talking about the actual food. Can hamburgers increase and fish and chips fall? The answer is certainly no. Okay. So you must choose your words carefully because it's the consumption. Okay, the amount or obviously in the example, the Australian teenagers are eating. So bear in mind, the examiner will be looking at your use of English. Can you use the words correctly? Can you use the words and the data accurately? So this is highly important. So please be careful with the words you choose. So remember, hamburgers aren't increasing. It's the consumption of hamburgers. Okay, so always be wise with those words. So I have a question. So it says the pie charts between the first pie chart and the second pie chart. So will I write all the differences? So let me just go back to those pie charts. They are tricky. They are indeed tricky. So here we go. There are the pie charts. As you can see, they are from two different eras. Okay, so they're from, the first one's from 95 and the second is from 2005. Okay, now the answer is yes. You don't have to show all of the differences or write all of the differences, but the examiner is looking for the proportions. So which one is the highest proportion? Which one is the smallest proportion? And which proportions have dramatically changed from the first year to the second pie chart? Okay, so if there's any further questions for that, so we're looking at the proportions, okay? Obviously, you only have 20 minutes, so don't be looking at all the finer details. Look for the main details. Which is the big proportion, which is the smaller proportion, and how can we compare them? How can we state the differences? And how can we state the details that are similar or have not changed? Okay, don't forget you. Okay, so moving on, let's have a look and review what you have learned today. So you have learned how to introduce the graph. So remember, we must paraphrase using your own words and your own English. We have also looked at how to give an overview. Remember, in the overview, you are not stating the data. You are literally just giving an overall idea of what the data is showing. You also know that for body paragraph A, you're stating what is similar. What is similar in the graph? What is similar in the chart? Or what is similar between the two pie charts? And then you know, or you now know, that in the body paragraph B, you must give the differences, or you can do it the other way around. You can start with similar, then differences, or differences, then similarities. It doesn't matter as long as you include them in your body paragraphs. And again, please remember it's over 150 words because the examiner, he or she, will be looking. And to just conclude today, remember that there are the 4 criteria that you will be assessed on, and the examiner will be looking at these 4 things: your task achievement, the grammar that you use, are you using the right tense? The words that you're using, so don't repeat yourself, don't be a robot and continue to use the same words. Expand, use as many different words as you possibly can. And coherence and cohesion. Please make sure that your ideas link, do they make sense? And also use different linking words. Do not use the same linking words. So don't use because. Expand, use different words. And in a further session in the future, we will be looking at some different linking words. So hopefully this has been a useful insight for you guys. It was lovely to meet you all. I hope I've answered as many questions as possible. And for now, I hope to see you very soon. Keep working hard on your IELTS. The more you practice, the better you will get. And like I said, any questions, any queries, please don't hesitate to ask. And thank you very much, guys. Thank you for your time. And I believe you have another class starting very soon. So good luck and keep working hard. Bye, everyone.